Hi everyone, I'm Kate. I'm an English teacher on Verbling. I'm originally from the United States, and so I'm a native speaker of English. And I'm one of many English teachers and Spanish teachers on Verbling. We give classes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So wherever you are, you can take a class at a convenient time for you. In today's class, it should be fun. We're going to practice speaking, a lot of speaking, and essentially we'll just be working on speaking in casual conversation in dialogues from everyday life. So we'll start with just sort of making small talk, so this is when you meet someone at a bus stop, for instance, or you meet someone at a party and you introduce yourself and you want to maintain a casual conversation. And this is something that, as you know, can be very difficult in your non-native language. So we'll be practicing that. And then in the second part of class, we'll be practicing dialogues about some other sort of everyday situations, but not necessarily small talk, so to speak. So this might be things like booking a hotel room, or what you say when you're visiting the doctor or the dentist. Really anything like that. And so which ones we choose will depend on the interest of the students in class. Okay, so again, I'll repeat that Verbling is a really interesting language learning site. There are two options so I'll speak specifically about English study. So if you're interested in learning English with Verbling, you have two options essentially. The first one is to do private tutoring, which you'll be working one-on-one with a native English speaker, and you can do it you set a time with your teacher, a time that works for both of you. Okay, and this is more personalized for you. You work on whatever you want to, or the areas that your teacher thinks you need to improve, etc. Whereas if you decide to sign up for Verbling classes, these are more sort of dynamic group interactions, right? Things like that. And the classes are for all different levels. So whether you're just learning English or you've been learning English for years, you'll be able to find something that meets your needs. Okay. So once again, today's class is for intermediate learners. And in today's class, we will be practicing a lot of speaking. So the first thing we'll be doing is practicing small talk. So for those of you who don't know what small talk means, small talk is a sort of casual conversation. It's polite conversation that you make usually more with acquaintances, people you've just met, rather than with friends, right? Because if you're speaking with a friend, you can really talk about anything, especially if it's a good friend. So when I say small talk, I mean, when you meet someone like a friend of a friend. Let's imagine you're waiting for the train in your city, right? And you see someone that vaguely looks familiar. This is an instance where you'll want to make small talk, right? You're not necessarily going to ask this person about extremely personal things, about intimate details of their life, of his or her life, right? Instead, you're going to be talking about, the classic small talk topic is the weather, things like that. All right, so we're waiting for students to arrive. So for those of you who are watching, I will explain a little bit more about what are some guidelines for making small talk. Okay, so small talk, I'm going to share my screen here. Small talk, essentially, is polite conversation. It's usually about unimportant or uncontroversial subjects, right? So again, you're probably not going to talk to someone about, their personal life or about some very contentious political issue if you've just met them. It's not the most polite thing to do. So this is an extremely useful skill in social situations. It implies that you're just casually chatting with someone. And it's often with, again, as I said, acquaintances rather than your good friends. And I think that if you can effectively make small talk, it'll be much easier to meet new people in English. Generally, it helps you, as I said here, it helps you to avoid awkward or uncomfortable situations. Okay. So, again, there are some good topics for small talk, and there are some topics for small talk that are not so great. Oops. Sorry. Okay, so the classic one is weather, right? Oh, it's a nice day outside, or oh, it's kind of crappy weather. What's it like there? Or it's been a great weekend, a beautiful weekend for the beach, etc. Another thing you can say very casually is simply, how has your day been, right? And it makes people aware that you are interested in them. Generally, obviously, it's good to ask questions. You can give someone a compliment, right? That's always a great conversation starter. You can talk about upcoming plans. So, what are you doing this weekend? Do you have any trips planned for the vacation? Whatever, anything like that. Another thing you can bring up, again, preferably an uncontroversial issue, is something from the news. So if something interesting happens, right, or, especially if these are kind of fun, special interest stories, right, something interesting from the news, something about sports, whatever. You could talk about school or work, casually asking someone what they're studying, what their job is like, again, showing that you're interested in the person you're speaking with. And then just any other mutual interest, right? If you are super interested in, I don't know, rocks or something, you probably don't want to, unless you know that the person you're talking to is a geologist or also shares that kind of quirky interest, you probably want to stay on broader, more neutral topics. So things that people have in common. Okay. And then obviously there are some things we should simply stay away from, right? There are some bad topics for small talk. Okay. Sorry, hold on one second. Okay, and these include things like divorce or death, right? Money, salary, things like politics, sex, religion, and then, all the emotional issues that come up. So emotional, political issues like abortion, welfare, capital punishment, etc. Okay. All right, so I'm curious what's happening. It says that there are seats. Oh. Okay, so I think I'm speaking in the wrong link. Let's see if people arrive.
Hi, good afternoon.